If you were having coffee with me, I would invite you to my tangled web with a flourish. I've always had a soft spot for the theatrics of magic and illusion. Now you see it, now you don't. Look very carefully, because this is where the magic happens. Growing up, I had this beginner's book on magic tricks, and one of the first chapters in the book taught you that the secret to pulling off a successful trick was misdirection. Shift the attention of the audience from where the actual trick happens by waving your hands about and saying the magic words. I could make a coin disappear from my hand through my elbow and make it reappear in an empty matchbox. That was pretty cool. If you're having coffee with me, I'll tell you that the second part of the Al Jazeera documentary on the gold pot is titled Smoke and Mirrors. Al Jazeera's investigative unit exposed some of the alleged players dealing in illicit gold trade in Southern Africa. In the episode, which aired on Thursday, the 30th of March 2023. The South African banking system was revealed as a vehicle for some dodgy transactions and probably raised a lot of alarm bells for the South African Reserve Bank, which had already been replaced on a grey list by the Financial Task Force for falling short of certain international standards for combating of money laundering and other serious financial crimes. Within hours of the documentary airing, South African officials had already issued a communication that they were looking into the allegations. Meanwhile, in our teapot-shaped country, no official communication had been released until the 4th of April, when the Ministry of Information finally released a press statement on their position. If you're having coffee with me, I'll tell you that according to a news report on Neander Radio, our anti-corruption committee in 2021 alone gobbled up a budget of $33.3 million and no convictions to show for it. So you might understand people being skeptical of the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission actually doing anything. Although to their credit, just last week, ZAC arrested Clerk of Parliament for criminal abuse of duty as a public officer. The arrest is said to be related to the procurement of grossly overpriced laptops. Remember the scandalous laptops that cost $9,000 each? But of course, people are more concerned with their eyes on the prize. If anything will come out of the Gold Mafia investigations. Speaking about eyes on the prize, I saw a news headline about Donald Trump holding the dubious title of being the first former US president to face criminal charges. Do pardon my ignorance, but from my flawed view of the world, I would say the world has more pressing issues to deal with, paying hush money to adult entertainers like mass shootings, climate change, AI that also require the same amount of energy to do it. But what do I know? I live in a country where the government just announced that it is going to build high-rise building in rural areas. The government is on the drive to modernize most rural areas through construction of high-rise buildings, which is a phenomenon in the rural district councils. National Housing and Social Amenities Minister. First thing that came to mind is what electricity would power these high-rise buildings. I can't imagine elderly folk going up the flight of stairs to get their apartments coming from a long day at the fields. The electricity situation is still rather terrible with an average of 18-hour power cuts, despite the celebrations that Wange Unit 7 is now online. Looking at the latest power generation statistics, we should be experiencing some reduced load shedding. But no, same old, same old. Which means someone is not telling the complete truth. Either there's an outright lie on the electricity generation figures, or maybe there's an electricity mafia that is enjoying first preference to electricity supply. Word on the street is that there are some mines, residencies, and corporations that have 24-hour electrical supply. Until I see an official load shedding schedule, I might be inclined to believe that there is some rather obscure dealings in our electricity supply and distribution. If you're having coffee with me, I'll tell you that I'm currently hooked to a TV show called Rabbit Hole, starring Kiefer Sutherland. A particular demographic might remember him as Jack Bauer of the 24 fame. The plot of the series seems to hint at current world social and economic and political standings, how the flow of information can be manipulated to deliver specific outcomes. Chapter 1. Undermine people's faith in media so they begin to doubt the very nature of the truth. Chapter 2. Polarize factions in society. Chapter 3. Marginalize intelligentsia. Chapter 4. Elect candidate under the guise of restoring order, someone smart, someone charismatic. How do you know what you think you know? My favorite social media platform is being used by its new owner as a personal meme platform. Can you imagine changing the Twitter bed to the Doge meme? Just. Compliments of the Easter season. Any plans? What's going on in your neck of the woods?